Hi, you're with Chandeep at Goodly once again, and in this video, I'm going to talk about the solution to the Power Query problem that I gave you earlier this week, which is where you had to clean up a couple of trial balances and combine the data together in a single Excel file. Now, if you haven't really taken a look at the problem first, I suggest that you take a look at the problem first, then come back to this video and understand the solution. Let's actually start. Alright, I'm in Power Query and that's where I have loaded the data, and I have done some bit of legwork to be able to proceed with the solution quickly, and you will understand it better. So take a look. We have connected our Power Query to the source. Source is nothing but the folder, which is where I'm getting all the three Excel files. You can see that we have April, Feb and March data right here. Now if I actually go over to the custom column, in the custom column you can see that we have created a very simple custom column, which is where I have used a function called excel.workbook, and I have linked that with the content column, which asks for a binary. Binary simply means a file. It actually converts that Excel file into a table so that Power Query is able to read the data. If you would like to take a look at the formula, I can open up the gear icon right here. In the custom column, I wrote that simple formula, connected that with the content column, which contained the three binary files, and this actually converted all the binary, which are your Excel files, into these tables so that Power Query is able to now read those files. Alright, proceeding ahead, I expand this particular column. Once I expand this particular column, you can see that I do get a couple of junk rows right here, which is where I don't really want these filter database and stuff like that. I just want to keep the data from the sheet, so I apply another filter to my kind column and say that, hey, just keep the data from the sheet, and that's the filter that I apply. Now, as of now, what I have done is I have got the data from the folder. I open up the sheets, and I can now in the data column take a look at the very data of the sheet. This is the data of 2020, this is the data of Feb, and this is the data of March 2020. Now the first thing that I need is I need the ability to be able to extract the date from this particular first row of the data. Now, although I can very well extract the date from the name of the Excel file as well, but I want to maybe go ahead and extract the date from this particular first row, so that just in case if you have those situations where you'd like to extract something from a closed table, maybe from the first or the second row, you should know how to do that. Anyways, take a look. So I'm just going to go over to the Add Columns tab and maybe create a custom column. In the custom column, I am going to say that here is a column which is called data, in which I have three tables. From all these three tables, I'd like to extract the first row. Let's just do that. So the tables are kept in the column of data. In the column of data, I'd like to extract the first row. So maybe I'll just mention the row number. Now, why do I mention 0? 0 because in Power Query, the counting actually starts with 0, not with 1. So I'm just saying that in curly brackets, go fetch the first row of the data. Now, once it fetches the first row of the data, it's going to fetch all the columns of the first row. It's going to fetch column 1, column 2, column 3, and column 4. If I commit to the formula, press enter, what I'm going to get is the entire record. So column 1's record, 2, 3, 4, the entire record is what I get. But I don't really want the entire record. What I actually need is the record or the data point of column number 1. So let's just go over and revise our formula. In the formula, I have mentioned the table name, I have mentioned the row number, and I will now also mention the column name, which is nothing but column 1. I close that bracket, I commit to the formula, and what I get is a text value, which is nothing but the first value of the first column of the data, and we have been able to successfully extract that. Now, although we can create more and more columns to be able to clean this particular thing and just form a date, but let's just pack all of that calculation inside of our custom column formula. So I'm just going to go over here and let's just revise the name of this particular column to period, and let's just create a quick step here. So I'm just going to go over and start the let statement, and I'm just going to say that this is my text date. This actually gives me a text date, which is the entire text, and I would like to remove some pieces of text as well. So if I need to clean this particular thing, this text state that I have created, which is giving me this particular output, the first thing that I need to get rid of is the trial balance for period text. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another step, and I'm just going to call this as clean date, and I'm just going to say that a formula called text.replace. In text.replace, I'm just going to feed what text am I trying to clean. I'm trying to clean this particular text, and this particular text is delivered by text date, which I just created. So I'm just going to use the text date right here, and I'm just trying to remove that by like a blank, so double quotes right here with nothing inside of that. Now you have to be extra careful about the way that you write it, because if this piece of text doesn't really match here, it's not going to perform that replace right here. Let's just close this and let's just form the in statement here. And in the in statement, I'm just going to call the new variable that I have just declared. So I'm just going to say okay, and let's just see what do we get. We get April 20, Feb 20, and March 20. So that part is gone. So far so good. What I'm now going to do is I'm just going to add a prefix of 1 here, and I'm just going to say that final date, and I'm just going to say, hey, why don't you concatenate the number 1 along with the cleaned date so that I kind of get this particular output. So I'm just going to put a comma here and just maybe start to call my final date out and say okay, and let's just see what do we get. We get 1st of April 2020, we get 1st of Feb 2020, but I don't need the first of the dates, I need the end of the dates. The first thing that I need to do is convert this entire piece of text into a date. That's one. The second thing that I need to do is I need to push that date to the end of the month. So let's just actually do that. I'm actually going to open up the formula once again. In the formula, I'm going to say that this needs to form a date. So date.from. What date.from actually does is, if you have a text that seems like a date and Power Query can convert that into a date, that's good. What I will do now is that I will convert this particular date into end of month date. So I'm just going to say date.end of month. All right, close that bracket, and say okay, and let's just see what we get. We do get the end of the month, so 30th of April, 29th of Feb, and 31st of March. This is good. All right, once we have the date, let's just keep that particular period column that we have created. Let's just also now start to clean that particular table, which is where we had the junk data. You can see that we don't really need a couple of rows from the top. We also need to promote the headers the right way. So I'm actually going to go to the Add Columns tab and quickly clean up this particular table so that the headers are promoted and the first few rows are gone. So I'm just going to go over and say custom column. And in the custom column, I'm just going to say that, hey, this is the table which is there in the data column. From this data column, there are tables. Just get rid of the first 3 rows of that particular table and also promote the headers. That's what I'm trying to say. So I'm just going to use the function called table.skip. In table.skip, it asks you for a table that for which table you're trying to skip a few rows. The tables are kept in the data column, first table, second table, or third table. The number of rows that I'm trying to skip are 3. And then finally promote the headers of that particular table. So table.promote headers. And finally, I close the bracket. So table.promote headers, table.skip, and 3 rows to skip. I'm just going to say OK. And I again get a table, but the difference is that you can see that now the headers are clearly promoted. Now, these are the 2 columns that we need, which is where I have the period and I have the cleaned up table. I can get rid of all the columns that I don't need and just say remove other columns. Now, let's just go ahead and expand this particular table and let's just see what we get. So I expand it. I click on OK, and that's the table that I get. Now remember that we not only have to work with the current period, but we also have to work with the prior period. So I'm actually going to go to the Add Columns tab and pick up this particular date to have the last year date as well, because these balances are not for the current year, these balances are for the last year, and we need to combine all of these balances. So I'm just going to go over to the custom column. In the custom column, I'm just going to call this as last year period, and I'm going to use the formula date.add years. That's the function date.add years. Just get rid of that. And in that function, what I'm going to say that I have a period, and that period you can kind of skip it by -1. -1 simply means -1 of a year. So take that date and push it behind 1 year. I'm just going to say okay, and whatever date I had, this actually goes back to the last period. This is so far so good. So now I have everything that I need. It's all about arranging the data in such a way that all of the data actually comes together. Now the first thing that I need is, in this particular data, I would just keep all the things that I need for the current year table. That's what I keep. So period is what I need. The GL code is what I need, the GL item is what I need, and balance for the current year is something that I need. I'm just going to right click here and say remove other columns, and all the other columns are gone, and these are the columns that I need. I also need a bit of renaming to ensure that the tables, when they are combined, they kind of combined are in the correct way. So I will only change the name of this particular column, and I will just call this column as balance. And I'm also going to rename this particular step, and I will call this table is nothing but my current year table. So you can see that we have the current year period, we have the GL code, GL item, and the current year balance. So far so good. What we're going to do now is that we're going to call the previous step, which is where we had all the columns with us and we kept all the columns that we wanted to be able to form the current year table. So I will call that step once again, which is where we had all the columns with us. That step is called as added custom 3. So I'm just going to click on the fx right here and call the previous step, not the immediate previous step, but this particular step, which is added custom 3. So I'm just going to say added custom 3 and press enter. And what I now have is this particular step. Now from this step, what I'm trying to create is a table for the last year. What columns do I need for the last year? I need the last year period. I need the last year balance, the GL item, and the GL code. These are the things that I need. I can right click and say remove other columns, and sure enough I would have to do again a bit of renaming. So this has been called as period, and that's what I'm going to call this. This has been called as balance, and that's what I'm going to call this. GL item and GL code haven't been changed in their name, so this is actually good enough. Can we actually come up with a way to kind of combine these two tables together, and it just works? So I'm just going to create a new step right here, and I'm going to write a fresh function right here, which is called table.combine. Now table.combine actually asks you for tables. Which tables are you trying to combine? I'm trying to combine two tables, which are actually two steps of my query. One of the steps is last year table. So I'm just going to form a list, and in the list I will write all my tables. So this is my first table, and then I have my current year table, and I close the list, which is close the curly bracket, commit to the formula, press enter. And what I now have, since the column names were the same, we had period, balance, GL item, and GL code. All of that is combined and loaded into my Excel. Let's just take this data to Excel and let's just kind of verify. All right, I have loaded the output of the Power Query into my Excel, and I have also opened up on the side some data, one of the trial balances, just to be able to make sure that the output that I have from Power Query is correct or not. So let's just go take a look at the February 2020 trial balance. How many items do we have? We have about 11 items right here. And if we actually go take a look at the output of the trial balance that we have consolidated into our Excel using Power Query, we should actually see 22 items for this particular period. Why? Because 11 items are going to be for the current period and 11 items are going to be for the last period, and we should also see the relevant dates against that. So let's just go over to our Excel and let's just apply a filter, and let's just go filter for Feb, and let's just see how many values do we get. Do we get 22 values or not? Sure enough, we do get 22 values at the bottom, and we are also seeing two different periods, one for Feb and for 2019 and the other one for Feb 2020. So this seems to be absolutely correct. Alright, that was the quick solution to how do you actually clean up the trial balance and bring all the trial balances together into a single Excel file. Now, if you haven't really gotten around to solve this problem, I suggest that you take a look at the solutions that people have actually posted on the blog comments, and you will learn many different ways of solving the same problem. And of course, a big shout out to everybody who participated in this challenge, and here comes a little confetti and a shout out to you guys. Thanks so much for participating. And a quick shout out about my DAX and my Power Query courses. If you're starting out and you need help with building up your fundamentals first of Power Query or with DAX, and then proceed on to solving more challenging, more sophisticated problems of your own data, I will highly recommend that you take a look at my courses. It's going to be highly beneficial. Thanks so much for watching this, and thanks so much for participating. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.